Biohazard Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back, fellow survivors, to another episode of the Biohazard Bros Podcast. I am your host, Kenjira80, and this is my co-host, Colin255. We have a little bit of a change-up this week on the podcast. Initially today, I was scheduled to have a conversation with Anthony Luzzi of Let's Talk Resident Evil, but he had an unfortunate circumstance pop up, which we hope the best to you and that you get that resolved, and we've rescheduled and pushed back till Tuesday. Hopefully, and if everything works out, we'll be able to talk to him as well as Saturday if things can work out. I'm glad to announce that I'm going to be talking with Beggy from the Residents of Evil.
Nice.
So those are two great things for you guys to our listeners to look forward to, and I would like to try to have you on with Beggy if you don't, if you said you might have some things coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
That's why we're recording the podcast now. So if you're not able to make that, that's okay. I'll have a one-on-one with them, and then we will pick up the following week as normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With that all being said, we would like to welcome you guys in today to give us a listen to our follow-up to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Today we're going to be discussing Resident Evil 8 or Village.
Yep, Resident Evil Village.
Not a very not a game that's very high on my tier list of favorites.
Yeah, are we just gonna get that out of the way right away? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So this is going to be not necessarily a me shitting on Resident Evil 8 Village episode, but we will have a deep discussion about it.
So it's pretty low on your list. Like, you like the game, but it's pretty low on your list compared to other Resident Evil games. But for me,
yes,
it's more. For me personally, it's more in the middle. Like, there's a lot of Resident Evils I like more than Village, but there's also quite a few that I like less. So it's kind of more towards the middle, maybe like low middle, like it's definitely not my favorite, and I don't like it as much as 7, but it's good. I really like Village a lot, and it's definitely far from my least favorite. But you're saying that it's one of your like lower, lesser favorites.
It's bottom of the barrel, but it's certain. There's certainly worse Resident Evil games I can think of.
Of course, and we're mostly talking.
I can think of a couple.
We're talking about like the numbered entries, like obviously.
Yes, out of the numbered entries,
yeah.
This is basically the bottom of the barrel. I think I might even like Resident Evil 6 just slightly better, but that's.
Hey man,
I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair play right there.
That might be a stretch to make that claim.
You know, everybody
I want to say more realistically, they're even.
If Resident Evil 6 is fun. I like it. It's just
yeah.
I think I've already said plenty of times it's my least favorite numbered entry. Mm-hmm. But I do like Resident Evil 6. I literally like every Resident Evil game, every numbered entry, and some spin-offs. There's obviously some spin-offs I have never played before, but yeah, Resident Evil 8 for me is closer to like the middle, maybe like a little bit lower than middle. Like if I had to like list them all, it would probably be a little bit below like the halfway point. You know what I mean? Like the middle of the list. And but definitely not at the bottom. I do really enjoy the game. I literally just replayed it on Village of Shadows New Game Plus because Village of Shadows is hard as shit. Oh my god. Like it's if you go into Village of Shadows with New Game Plus stuff and like all infinite ammo, Magnum, whatever, it's not that bad. There are some hard parts, but it's not that bad. If you go into it with a fresh new save, holy shit, it really is one of the hardest difficulties in any Resident Evil game. If you do it like from a fresh save, it is so hard. But yeah, anyways.
Well, getting into the game,
yeah,
I'm not going to completely shit on it, but people have called Resident Evil 7 a terrible Resident Evil game, or that it's not Resident Evil. I wouldn't say that about 7 or this one. It's actually, it falls in line with Resident Evil as far as like the interface and the inventory system is very much a Resident Evil 4 clone. Yeah. Even like the village setting. Yeah. And I love Resident Evil 4, but so like I said, I'm not going to completely shit on it. It's good in that regard. and I'm going to save my ranking for the game, which you might be surprised what it is when we get to that. But this is essentially it's a follow up to Resident Evil 7 uh, Biohazard,
Yeah.
but it makes no sense the way that the story plays out to me. That like I've said this that why would Chris relocate these people? All right, first of all, they relocate these people like they're fucking hiding them from the mafia. Okay.
Right.
Then number two,
It's 3 years later,
they
also, by the way.
they
Just
they create a cover story. Now I don't know if this was to cover up the fact of what happened with
the
the
mold.
Dolby incident,
Yeah, the
or if
mold.
the cover up, like to protect the public, or if they, like they didn't want the public to know that these like people were involved in
Yeah,
like
that's true. I don't really know.
a
Like,
bioweapons event. I don't understand why he did all that, and then he
um,
relocates them to right underneath the fucking nose of the lady who is in control of all this shit, I guess, apparently, right?
yeah, Mother Miranda. I'm gonna call her Miranda, by the way, throughout this whole video because that's how Heisenberg says her name, Mother Miranda instead of Miranda. Anyways, yeah, she, I don't know, like Chris knew that we're just gonna go right into it. Like Chris knew that Mia at the beginning was Miranda, right? Like he knew obviously he comes in and just starts fucking
Guns her
yeah
down, which was
yeah. So I wonder
out of care.
I wonder how long he knew, like, because I agree, there are things, there are a lot of things that are questionable about that. Like it makes me wonder, like, how long did he know that
Yeah.
Mia was actually Miranda, and why didn't he do anything about it sooner? And also, why did he think going in and just using a regular ass handgun was gonna do the job? He should have fucking brought literally everything. He should have brought the fucking. He should have had tanks out there. He should have had fucking rocket launchers and shit. Like, why'd he bring just a fucking? I guess he just vastly underestimated her because that shit
Yeah.
didn't do shit to her. That shit tickled her. But yeah, it is silly. It's a little weird, but
Well, the campaign for the game, like the ads and all that,
yeah.
the advertisements
They
were leading us to believe that Chris was a villain,
That's yeah,
and
that's probably that's why they kind of like hide it, like they, because he just walks in and just starts shooting, and then and it's stupid that like they even bring it up in the game, like, what we should have told Ethan, like you should have told him sooner. Like they bring it up later in the game, and the reason why they
yeah.
don't is because they want to hide the fact. It's not because like Chris is stupid and like, oh man, oh, I shouldn't
Well, it's
tell
almost
Ethan,
like a
like.
plot device.
They give a reason. He says like because he knew you would want to. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd want to get involved, and like, but that's kind of a thin reason. Like that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like it's really the real reason is the writers just wanted to make it look like Chris actually is turning evil, like, and is going to be a bad guy or something, because they were definitely trying to promote it as that, like that Chris is going to have a dark side in this game, and he might even be going to the dark side, anti-hero, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't think they were fooling anybody. They certainly weren't fooling me. I didn't think Chris was going to be
Right.
bad at all in this game.
I like the improvement of Chris's appearance over Resident Evil
Oh yeah,
7
his physical
Biohazard.
appearance is
Absolutely, 100.
way better,
Yes,
way
I
better.
love it, but I don't like like the way he handled that situation at the beginning of the game and not letting Ethan in on like, hey, this is what's going on, because Chris is like a good guy, and
Yep.
he's not a dick. Okay, he's not a
Well,
maybe
that's
the years
debatable.
of fighting okay, so maybe the years of fighting bioweapons have made him jaded a little bit,
Yeah.
but like he's let this dude believe, he let Ethan believe he murdered his wife right in front of him for no
Yeah,
good
and
reason.
yeah.
And it's like I said, it's the antithesis of who I think of when I think of Chris Redfield. So
Yeah, well,
uh,
like I said, they just wanted to hide the fact and make it seem like he's turning dark side, or
yeah,
like he's got some other agenda that is part evil. So I don't know. They were trying to sell that, and obviously at the beginning of the game they couldn't like give it away. But then as you gradually go through the game, you start to realize that he's actually on your side, and then he straight up tells you when you're towards the end. But
I
yeah,
guess I've seen worse things in Resident Evil games, like the plot point of Leon trying to save the president's daughter, but the Los Illuminados is trying to infect the rest of the world, so
yeah,
they try to stop Leon,
yeah, yeah.
or Resident Evil 6. Every fucking plot point of that game
Oh my God,
completely
yeah,
is like it's so oh
ridiculous. It's so silly.
it's ridiculous. Okay, Revelations, that nothing in that game makes sense.
Revelations 1.
Revelations 1, but I love all these games, so I'm not,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
I
of
said,
course. Like they're all
I know
silly.
I've
They all
talked
have
shit
silly
about
things.
it all week long, and it's not my favorite for those reasons.
Right.
What I don't like about it, we're about to get into. I do like the village. I love the village siege at the beginning. It kind of falls in line with RE4,
Yeah, it's very
RE5, all that.
RE8 is very much RE7 and RE4 had a baby pretty much. Like,
Yeah,
and
or
not every
RE5 even, if you want to go that far.
yeah, maybe a little RE5 even. But and I know not everybody agrees with that, but a lot of people think that. A lot of people have said it's basically just RE7 with some
Yeah.
RE4 thrown in there. And RE4, like, it literally is like you start out in the village in RE4 and you start in the village in RE8. I almost said RE7 in RE8, and then you move on to Jesus, you go to a castle in RE4. You move on to the castle
Yeah.
section. You move on to a castle
And
section
you
in
have a
RE8,
castle section in
and
this
R
game, and the
and then
castle's fucking
and
beautiful.
then you move on to an island where it's like I guess is there really a comparison for the third act between those two games? I'm trying to think. You go to Heisenberg section. That's not really an island though, but there are like
It's comparable, like in a lot of ways, like moreover than just like the flow of the story and the three acts, but it's the aesthetic of it being in a village. You have the castle section, like you said, but
yeah.
also there's a merchant in the game we call the Duke,
Yeah, the merchant Duke's
and
awesome.
he's actually friends with the merchant, or he claims to
Oh
have
yeah,
known the
then
merchant.
yeah. What does he say
Uh,
again? What do you buy?
I
What are
don't
you
remember.
buying? Sorry, just a thing I heard a friend say once, or something like that. He
Yeah, that's
says
what he says. What do you buy? Sorry, that's a thing I heard a friend say.
something like that. Yeah,
Very clever. I like that.
yeah, it's cool.
Um,
Duke's awesome.
yeah,
He's a cool guy.
absolutely.
He's
He's a great part. And you know what? I like. All right, so I like the mythical Transylvanian monster
I
vibe,
love it.
but also this is the reason why I don't like the game. So let
I
me explain.
right.
I like it because I like mythical monsters. Hell, I have a wolf man hanging on my wall right here.
Yeah,
Uh, I love I love Universal monsters and vampires and Castlevania kind of shit. I love all that shit. I just feel like it's out of place in a Resident Evil game. But for what it does with it to give us something new, I'm not going to entirely shit on it. I will shit on it a little bit and say I'm not the biggest fan of it.
that's fair. It's
So
completely
I
fair.
can get that out of the way. So with all that out of the way, what I do love about this game with the mythical monster thing
The
is I love its
lycans.
setting. I like the werewolves because I love werewolves. I like the village in the snow. I like the snowy atmosphere, the gray
Oh yeah,
skies,
yeah.
the fucking snow on the ground. It's just it's beautiful, and it's basically Resident Evil 7 just a little bit bigger because it's out. You now you're in a village and not just isolated to a
And
house.
it's a very bright game. Like most Resident Evils,
Yeah,
when you're outside, especially, like, it's dark, it's at night, but it's like for half the game at least, like it's just
and
like fully bright out.
yeah, and it mixes in that Resident Evil feel, 4 feel, excuse me, because this game went from, and this is not necessarily a not it's not a deal breaker for me, but it went from basically pure survival horror in Biohazard to
A lot
action
more
horror,
action, yeah.
right back to action horror,
Right up to RE4,
right
RE5
back
stuff
to it.
type of
Yeah,
stuff.
just
Yeah,
jumped right off the
pretty
plot,
much.
right
Yeah,
back to action horror,
like
which I guess that's okay because that's to be expected.
yeah, and there was some horror. Like, we skip ahead a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
to Donna Benevento. I can never say her name. Her section.
Beneviento.
That section is probably one of the creepiest sections in any RE game. But that's like the only section that's like,
Is that the part with the baby?
yeah, like
And it's trying to gobble you up?
yeah.
I
It's pretty
guess it's kind
creepy.
of creepy.
It's pretty
It's
creepy.
kind of creepy. Yeah, it's kind
The
of
first
creepy.
time you play it, like yeah, but the
I
rest of
don't
the
know. I
game,
don't
there really
find
isn't.
babies don't creep me out, but
Well, I mean,
even demonic babies. I mean, because it's a baby. You could just stomp on its skull. Well, it is kind of big, isn't it?
it literally swallows you whole. It's a
Yeah.
baby, but
Listen,
it's not a baby. It's a
and then
fucking
I file it up
monster.
with "Let's stomp on its skull." Hey,
It's a
listen, I'm not
monster.
into.
It's a monster when you have no
It's a
weapons.
monster. Yeah.
But
Uh.
anyways, that part,
Yes.
knowing that you can't do anything to it, the only thing you can do is run. It's pretty terrifying the first time you do it. For
Remember
a
the
Resident
demon
Evil game.
babies in Doom 3?
Yes, I do. They're annoying.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that they're annoying. Holy shit, I forgot about that
Yeah.
until you just brought that up. Holy shit,
Yeah.
Doom 3. I got to replay that.
Yep. And we'll be doing a podcast about that soon.
Actually, I'm going to be replaying because Doom Dark Ages it's coming out in a week. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm excited for that. Okay. Anyways, back to
Yeah,
RE8.
me too, dude. Anyway, back to RE8. Yeah.
Anyways, so a lot of the reasons you're saying like you don't like this because you don't think it fits in for with Resident Evil, right? Like
Yeah, the
or
bioweapons don't fit in for me.
you
They
think it
don't
doesn't
have
work
like
in a Resident Evil setting?
it doesn't work in a Resident
But
Evil
I
setting.
kind of
That's
like
really
disagree.
that's my only beef, really.
I don't.
Other than that, the game's pretty fantastic. You know, it's all right.
Yeah, I like it. I like that it's different. There's a wide variety of enemies. The Lycans, there's those bone monsters. There's obviously the four main like lords. The Lady D with the big boobas and the big
The big mommy milkers,
the
yeah.
big booty. And I like. Oh, by the way, I like when you sell the.
Every time somebody talks about her tits, I'm just like, oh, the mommy milkers, yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna. The Duke mentions when you sell her item. What does he say? He's like,
something she's
Lady
as
Dimitrescu. Oh, that waistline, yes. Like
she's
when
as beautiful in death as she was in life, or something like that.
something like
Yeah.
that. But it's pretty funny. Yeah, you have those four. Which, but okay, I think the highlight, character wise, are definitely her and Heisenberg. You already know I love Heisenberg. I've gone on rants
Yep.
about how much I love Heisenberg and the voice actor who voiced Heisenberg, which, by the way, is the same guy who voiced Nikolai in RE3 Remake.
You had to point that out to me because I would have never caught on. I've said it, he kind of like changes up his accent for this guy so
And
well.
I like
But
him better
once
in
you
this
hear it, you
game.
can hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's also Chris who did the voice of Carlos in RE3 Remake, which
He's Carlos.
yeah, I know
I
you
just
said
couldn't buy him as Chris.
I love him as Chris.
I couldn't
I've
buy
said
him as
this
Chris. All I
too.
heard was Carlos.
This is pretty much my favorite version of Chris. Like it's one of them. Besides obviously the original RE1 Chris, OG RE1 Chris. Nobody can. Nah, that's the best.
Oh,
Chris.
Charlie Kraslavsky Chris
Yeah,
is
that's
probably my favorite.
that's the best
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah, but besides
I
that
just love
Chris,
him
like
and I love that character of his.
yeah, besides OG Chris, I think RE8 Chris is like it's up there as like I like RE7 Chris his personality, but I don't like the way he looks. Obviously, it's terrible design.
You know why I like Charlie Kraslavsky
And obviously
Chris the most?
RE5 Chris is obviously amazing. But why? What's that?
Because he fucking smokes cigarettes. Well, his character smokes cigarettes,
You know what?
and then I don't feel so bad about being a
So
smoker.
does RE8 Chris though. See?
He
Contradiction.
does. That's
He fucking does.
you're right.
He does.
You're right.
He absolutely
So
does.
Chris has always been a smoker.
Yeah. And yet somehow he can still punch boulders and shit and beat the fuck out of Lycans.
I think they kind of got away from that through that era because that was kind of in that era where like smoking. Well, it still is. They're like, oh, it's taboo. It's
Speaking
kind of
of.
gotten a bad image. Yeah, it's gotten a bad image. But I mean, hell, all of us smokers will die off soon, I guess. So we ain't gotta worry about that. But anyway, I love that I can relate to him in that aspect. So
Yeah, well, back to the bad guys. I think the lineup of enemies in this game are fantastic, and the cutscene that you
Yeah.
get when you first meet Heisenberg and he drags you to Mother Miranda, and then there's Lady Dimitrescu. There's Donna how do you say it?
Donna Beneviento.
Beneviento. Jesus Christ, I can't. I don't know why I have a problem with saying that. There's Moreau, the ugly twisted one that's in the water, and Heisenberg and Miranda. They're all there together. And by the way, it's the only scene where they're all together. And I think it's such a great scene because it starts out with Ethan waking up and Beneviento's little doll's like, he's awake! And then you can hear Moreau doing his stupid little laugh, like, ugh. And Heisenberg's like trying to plead his case. And then he's like, both of you shut the fuck up. He's just like, every line Heisenberg says in this game, I just love. It makes me love him so much more every single time he speaks. And then the little spat he gets into with Lady Dimitrescu is great, where she's like, they're just going back and forth, like, fuck, I'm trying to remember now what they say, like, oh, you would know, fuck, I can't remember what they say, but it's great, though, it's good stuff. Like, they go back and forth, like she's saying, no, quiet, child, adults are speaking, and then he's like, I'm the child, you're the one arguing with Miranda's decision, keep growing. One day your head might actually fit your ego, and the lines are so great, and I just love the characters so much. But Heisenberg especially kills it because the voice actor's so great, and I wish I could remember some of the other stuff he says in that scene. But there's also another scene, my favorite scene in the whole game, but that's later. I'll get to that a little bit later. That's towards the end of the game. But then after that, he kind of plays a game with you. Since Miranda lets Heisenberg decided what to do with Ethan's fate, because that was what they were arguing about, like who gets to do, they were trying to like pick who gets to choose what to do with Ethan, and she chose Heisenberg. You're allowed to decide to do whatever you want with him, and what he does is kind of plays a game with him. Run away, try to escape if you can.
A game of cat and mouse.
Yeah, and he does escape. And then that's
Is it just the part where he gets his fucking hand cut off again too? By Mother Miranda?
No,
she slices his.
No, and it's also not Mother Miranda that does that. That's
or is that Lady D?
Yeah, it's
Lady D.
That's when we get to the castle.
Okay.
They're not in the castle yet, but that does come up shortly after this. But yeah, that's another thing. Ethan's hands. My God, man. They just, oh my God. He gets two,
right off the rip, he gets him fucking big.
Yeah, he gets 2 fingers. He gets 2 fingers. And I feel like they did the 2 fingers on purpose because then he's left with 8 fingers. Resident Evil 8.
Like, man, how much punishment can this guy's hands go through? My God.
It's funny, every time you hold up his arms to block, he's showing you what Resident Evil number you're playing. He's like, hey, Ethan, what Resident Evil are you playing? And then he shows you 8. It's 8, motherfucker, Resident Evil 8.
You think they did that on purpose?
That's what I was just saying. I think they probably did, to bit off 2 of his fingers on purpose to make it the number 8. Why not? It's Resident Evil 8, so why not make it 8 fingers?
That's clever. I never really noticed.
I make that.
So you just brought that up.
I make that joke every time I play because I'm a corny motherfucker. I go, hey, Ethan, do you mind letting everybody know what Resident Evil number we're playing? And then I do the blocking animation because I'm so funny. I'm so hilarious.
So he escapes the Lycans that are in pursuit, makes his way back to this village.
Yeah.
And he's got to make his way into the castle. Let's get into this castle. I think this castle section, much like Resident Evil 4, is probably the highlight of the game.
I think it is probably the best section of the game, yeah.
Way too early, in my opinion, but hey, whatever, I guess
I was kind of surprised that Lady D was gone that early in the game.
Yes.
Because they were obviously, they were showing her off quite a bit in the trailer from what I remember. Like, they were showing her off like she was going to be, one of the main bad guys. And she is, but she just, I don't know, she kind of went earlier than I thought she would. And she also has her 3 daughters. I wrote it down. Bella, because I always forget the names. Bella, Cassandra, and Daniela. Yes. She has her 3 daughters. And
the more I think about this section of the game, and even the music is pretty good. It's not the best in the whole series, but it's good enough for the game. I'm liking it a little more and more as we talk about it, and I would give it another go. I do, but
You always
I'm not
should.
going to buy it for PlayStation. I'll just wait and see if it comes back on Game Pass at some point and play it when it's on
Yeah,
Xbox again.
every Resident Evil game is worth a second, third, fourth go.
But
In
I
my
do,
opinion.
I hope they add it to the, because they're starting to add games that you own to like play your own library on stream, like, over the cloud.
Hmm.
I I want them to add this, because then I have access to playing it again. I've only played it twice, once in the third person on the gold edition,
Oh,
and
really?
then again in the first
Did
person.
you play it? You
I
played it?
prefer the first person.
Oh,
What?
really? Did you? So wait, because they didn't patch that in until like a year later. So the first time you played RE8 was in
The
third
first
person.
time I played RE8 was the gold edition
Oh,
release.
wow. I
Yep.
forgot about that.
Yep.
That's
That was the first time I played it. I liked the game, but the more I thought about it, the more it declined. As the game went on, the more it declined. All right, the opening in the castle, the
yeah, that
first
opening
act of the game,
section.
basically.
Yeah,
That all that was great, but it fell off after they killed off Lady D. It just started to decline heavily for me.
I
That
kind of agree with that, but I still think there are.
I liked.
I think because there. I think all four places you go to there are highlights in each place.
Well, I
But
liked
I
the
think
Donna
I agree.
Beneviento house on. It's like on the fucking by the waterfall and shit.
Yeah,
With that whole section with the baby, that was creepy and cool.
the first time doing it,
But
it was awesome because that was like the
yeah,
heaviest puzzle section. It was definitely the
yeah,
scariest section of the game. But
absolutely.
the
But my
problem with that,
well, I mean, it's rivals the intensity of being chased by Lady
I was gonna
Dimitrescu
say,
around the
yeah,
castle.
that's pretty creepy too. But I don't know. This is a different kind of creepy because
She legit fucking made
at
me
least
run for the safe room
yeah,
several
but at
times.
least you can defend
So
yourself from her with like guarding, and you have health. You can use health and shit, and run
yeah,
away into different rooms. And like the baby, you literally can only run, and that's it. You don't have no weapons or health, and if it gets you, you're dead automatically. But and also, it's just a fucking creepy ass baby, and I don't know. But it was an awesome section the first time you ever playing it, and even like the second and maybe even third time. But when you've played it more than like three or four times, that section it gets annoying because you already know the puzzles and you already know the jump scares and everything, whatever. And in my opinion, it's the worst section if you've already played the game like three or four times or more.
yeah,
The more you play it, the worse that section becomes basically because it's like you lose all your weapons. There's no fighting, and you just want to hurry up and get it over with so you can get back to the fighting and stuff and
yeah.
other sections. But it was an amazing section in my opinion. The first couple times playing it, especially the first time, figuring out the puzzles and shit, and with how creepy it was. But yeah, I want to jump back to that opening. We didn't even really talk about it that much. The opening is
Yeah, go ahead.
very much like RE4, except I think it's
Very much,
I think
and
it's
that's why I like it. I like it.
I think it's
I
even
do like the opening.
in a way, I think it's more intense. Even like,
Yeah, because what I like. I like when they're trapped in that hut, that house, and it's
yeah,
burning, and that added another layer of like intensity to that whole like opening siege. I like to call them the opening sieges.
it was,
It was
and it's
really
hard
great
too. It's
because
because,
everybody fucking perishes in that house. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's real fucking sad, dude.
yeah, yeah. The opening thing, just like RE4, like where you're just fending off against, like in RE4, you're fighting a bunch of villagers, but in RE8, you're fighting a bunch of lichens. They're just nonstop coming at you, and there's even some that are shooting arrows at you from far away. And then eventually, the big dude comes out. The big motherfucker with the I don't even remember what weapon he has. The giant ass axe or whatever it is. I forget what he's holding. You
Hmm.
know what I'm talking about, right? At the very beginning
Yeah,
of the
the
game,
big.
he's a big dude,
He's the
like big.
chieftain of the Lycans. I forget his name,
Yeah,
but he's got a big hammer. He
yeah,
rides
hammer.
around the
There you
horse.
go.
He's real
He's
fucking scary. Is it a hammer or an axe?
I don't know. He doesn't ride in
I
on a
think it's a
horse though.
hammer. Because doesn't fucking Heisenberg have a hammer too?
He does. He has him like
Or
yeah,
I
like a
think both of
mechanical.
these characters. I think both these characters carry a hammer.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that it's such an intense section, especially on the higher difficulties, because it feels like it just lasts forever. But of course, with like there's speedrunners out there and just really clever people who figure out ways to get by it. Like there's a trick you can do by this door where you can like kind of block them from getting into the door, and you can just wait it out the entire thing. And be in no danger at all. Like I don't really know how it works, but I've seen it be done. Like people
mm,
people are crazy with figuring shit like that. I don't know how they do it. Like people figured that. I think people figured that shit out like within the first week of the game's release. Like if I remember right, pretty early on in the game's release, like people figured out a way to just basically just stand in one spot and just
Never
be
underestimate the power of the gamer.
exactly, yeah. But
So
anyways, uh, us bringing up Heisenberg and the Hammer makes me want to say something else about them.
yeah,
It's Lady Dimitrescu is very obviously like Wolverine.
well endowed.
Yeah, that too. But Wolverine from X-Men, like the regenerative abilities and the claws, and then Heisenberg's very much like Magneto. That's what I always thought, and I think other people think the same. But I don't know X-Men that well, so would there be like an X-Men for like Moreau and Donna Beneviento? Like, is there a parallel X-Men for those two? Do you think?
What's Moreau's powers again? He's a fish.
Yeah, and he can't really control when he transforms, but when he does, he's like a big ass like fucking whale fish thing in the water that can and he can like spew out like acid shit and so I don't know.
Well,
But
the only X-Men that I can think of that can't really control his powers is Scott Scott Summers can't he has to wear a red visor because every
mm,
time he looks at something it fries it. Or Rogue can't control her powers.
right. See, I don't
Every
know.
time
I
she
just don't
touches,
know X-Men
yeah,
that much. Like, so
I do a little bit.
I didn't really know. But I do know that Lady D and Heisenberg are very much like Wolverine and Magneto,
Yeah.
respectively, because he can control metal and shit, and she can regenerate at an
Well,
incredibly fast rate,
yeah,
and has the
yeah, she has
Wolverine.
the
She
claws.
has her nails
Yeah.
as claws. Yeah, so
Well, she would be
which
more like X-23. X-23's Wolverine's daughter, who has regenerative powers and claws,
oh,
and she's a female.
I didn't
So
even know.
yeah,
I
but
didn't.
I guess I can see where the correlation to Wolverine is.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Wolverine's the popular one.
yeah.
But
So
yes,
moving on to the let's get on to the next sections of the game, so we can get into the DLC eventually here.
well,
Um, there comes a part where you're in the Heisenberg section and you're having a conversation with Heisenberg about overthrowing Lady Miranda and teaming up.
that's my favorite
And what does
cutscene.
and it's your favorite cutscene, and you say it perfectly. So let's hear you mimic
Oh
that. Let's hear
god.
you say it.
When
I'm
he's
putting you on the
talking to
spot,
him
buddy.
when he's talking to him, he's like he really did put me on the spot. I'm just gonna skip ahead to the part where he's like, "Lady supersized bitch, ugly ass psycho doll, and the moronic freak." And then he tries to convince him that like, they're all dead. She's trying to test him out, and I'm
Yeah,
next in line, moving up the chain. I'm next in line. Well, fuck that. And then he says something like, didn't want to be a part of Miranda's family. Like, or no, Ethan says that. I don't want to be a part of Miranda's family. Well, and then he's like, well, neither did I, but here we are. And so he's trying to convince him to like join forces so they can,
yeah.
take over,
Would
kill
you have
Miranda.
joined forces with him if you could choose
I
in that
kind of
game?
feel like I would have like in that
I
situation.
would have too.
Like, and I even asked my brother when he played it because he played it right after I did when it first came out, and he said he would have too. The thing is it's
Right there's a missed opportunity for Capcom to give us like a back to Resident Evil 1 and have a choice to make and
yeah,
choose to join him, and again then have like an alternate
yeah,
ending for the game.
that could have been
That would
cool,
have
but
been really cool.
I'm sure that would have added a lot of more time and a lot more like cost, and I don't know. But anyways,
Yeah.
eventually he's like when he's trying to convince him, he's like, "You and me, Ethan, together, we'll go save Rose and use her or take her and whatever he says and use her to grind Miranda into paste." He says, and I love that line because grinder into paste is funny, but he also always says Miranda instead of Miranda, and it's I just love the way he talks so much. And he also is like getting pissed off at the beginning of the cutscene because the guy down below his little machine keeps making that noise that and he's like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." And then the second time he does it, last time, I swear to God, and he gets all pissed, and then he turns to Ethan, he's like, "Sorry about that." The way he says it, like the way he talks, I just love him so much. Like the after the quick outburst, he just looks at Ethan, he's like, "Sorry about that." Just the way he says it's so smooth. The voice actor for him is so great. I love him, and I hope we get him in RE9 voicing someone. I don't know who he'd be voicing because we don't really know anything about RE9, but I love that voice
Yeah.
actor. Um,
Speculations on that game are heavy. We're not going to speculate what it's going to be. I do hope that it has Leon in it again
it's
because
gonna
Leon's games seem to be the best for me.
it's gonna have a new main character, and the character's name is gonna be Colin with two L's. Everybody knows
You keep
this.
saying that, and what if it happens?
I would be the happiest person alive. I want to be in a Resident
So
Evil
there you go,
game.
Capcom. Give us a Colin character,
Yeah.
a character named Colin in Resident Evil 9.
Yeah, but we kind of skipped over. Well, there's two things. One thing is we mentioned it, but we didn't really talk about it. When he gets his arm cut off by Lady D in the castle
Oh
section.
yeah, at the beginning, in the castle when he's trying to escape.
Yeah, and then you got to get away from her without. So at that point, he literally only has three fingers because he has no hand on his right hand and only three fingers on his left. So he literally has three fingers and that's it. And you get away, you get the key, and then once you get on the elevator, he literally plops his hand back on to his like wrist, pours some shit on it, and it just reattaches. It's so funny looking.
That's because he's dead. He died. He's
right.
emoted now.
Yeah, but it just looks funny, and I wanted to mention.
But
it.
he's emoted that can be in control of his own powers and shit.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention the daughters because I think they're worth a mention. First of all, another great line. I don't know which daughter says it. It's either Bella or Daniela because they mentioned Cassandra. She says, "I can't believe Cassandra caused all this mess," and I don't know why that line. It kind of became a slight meme in my chat.
What you said? One of the daughters said that.
Yeah, the daughter.
I think it was Daniela that said that.
I don't know. It's hard.
I don't know.
Bella has the blonde hair. I know that. Cassandra has here. I wrote it down because I wanted to. I think Cassandra has the fucking darker hair, and Daniela has like brown. But it's like you can barely tell between them though, especially like in the heat of the moment. But anyways, it was obviously either Bella or Daniela. I don't remember.
Some of the girls I see online that cosplay these the Alcina's daughters are.
Mm-hmm. I like that you called her Alcina.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's her name.
I know, but nobody ever calls her that really. Like they always call her Lady D or Lady Dimitrescu. But her name is Alcina Dimitrescu.
Yeah, I like that name, so that's why
I do like it too. Yeah,
I do like her name,
and I've never heard it before.
I like her daughter's names too. I think
Cassandra.
Was it Bella, Cassandra? I like the name Cassandra. I like the name Bella, and I like the name Danielle. I love the name Daniela.
Yeah,
Daniela. I have a sister named Danielle, so.
Oh really?
Yeah, I like that name a lot. You know, I think the cosplayers that do these characters online they really nail them, and that's just a side note. But anyway,
yeah, the fights with these girls are really tough. The first one, anyways.
Yeah, I love that. Just that whole like taking them out one at a time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Is
as she gets more and more frustrated with Ethan each time he kills another daughter.
Yeah, but what I was going to say about the first daughter that you fight, which I don't know which one it is. I don't know, but on Village of Shadows, it's such a difficult fight. I know I keep bringing up Village of Shadows, but it's because I played it without doing like I tried it out without New Game Plus stuff, and I'm telling you, it is one of the hardest experiences I've ever had. Not even just in a Resident Evil game, but probably in a game in general. It's so difficult, dude. And that fight was surprisingly one of the hardest fights in the game because all you have is like your dinky pistol, your dinky shotgun that are both not upgraded at all. Maybe the rifle. I don't know if you have that at that point. You might have a pipe bomb or two, a mine or two, and it's Village of Shadows. So every hit takes you to danger immediately, and it's her. She has so much fucking help. But in Village of Shadows, it's not just her. There's a bunch of like skeletons coming out of the ground too, with the ones with like swords, and they're like drenched in like the brown coats or whatever they're wearing. Like a bunch of those enemies show up too, and you're in such a tiny little space that like when you're playing it on normal, it's nothing because it's just her and it's normal.
Wait, did they come up? You're talking about the ones that are from the basement, like the dungeon area?
Yeah. They
Those
pop
are.
they pop up
I don't
during.
think they're skeletons, are they? They're like.
Well, I
They're.
call yeah. You might yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know what they are.
they're. Yeah, I was gonna say they're like familiars or something.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I mean?
I call them skeletons, not with just not thinking about it. Whatever. You know
I
what I
got
meant
you.
though.
Yeah, that's why I was like for a second I was like, wait a minute, I don't
They're
remember
they're they're
skeletons staying in a
they're
monster.
they're dead looking things. They
Yeah,
look like.
they're they're well, they're familiars. I believe they're
Are
supposed
they
to be the
really?
equivalent of. I'm positive they're supposed to be the equivalent of like Renfield familiars to
I
vampires.
didn't know that.
Ghouls
Oh, I
is
do know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Actually,
they're
yeah,
ghouls
yeah.
because vampires make ghouls that go out and like find them victims and do their bidding
They're
and
all
shit.
males, I think, because I
Uh,
think I remember reading something about that in the game actually about
I
how all
I and Dracula's lore, I believe they're all males. Yes. I don't
interesting.
know because I've seen female ghouls, I've seen male ghouls. It
Right, but
just
I just mean in the
in
game.
Blade they're called familiars.
Well,
Um, you
oh,
know what
excuse
Blade
me.
is, right?
Yeah, I do, but I never watched it
Okay,
before.
going back to Marvel. Anyway, yeah, they.
Their fights are fun though. I enjoy all
Yeah,
the whole that
I
whole
I
cast section
like
is just so good. It really is.
I like the way that you kill them because they have to be exposed to the
Yeah,
elements,
yeah, yep. All three of them
which
do.
implies that they've never left the castle.
Or yeah, yeah, or that they just really hate it outside and they can't stay out. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I
Something
guess
about the being outside that petrifies them, which is maybe it's like the sunlight because that would be like with the legends of like vampires they don't like sunlight and everything, but Lady D can go outside, can't she?
she does.
So she follows you out there in the
Yeah.
court.
So
One of my
I don't
favorite
know.
sections of that castle is that area where she's like
In the
right
very
after like it's like a kitchen area and you go outside there's like a courtyard
courtyard.
and then it takes
Yeah.
you can go this way or that.
Yep.
I like that area. It was
Yeah.
really I thought the visuals were beautiful. I thought the
Absolutely.
visuals were beautiful up on the basilisk, the roof of the
Yeah, of the
castle.
roof. Yeah.
That
It
whole
was really
fucking
cool
castle
getting to
is just is
like
beautiful,
yeah,
man.
yeah. When I first played it, I didn't think we were gonna be going all the way up on the roof like that, and that was so cool. Although the flying enemies were kind of annoying though.
Although there's not like with the size of how the castle looks, it like the interior. Like I don't think you go to all over the castle. I
Well,
think you're
yeah.
just in sections of it because it's
I,
kind of smaller than it seems.
even
You
when
know.
you're in like the main hall, I think there's like an upper floor you can look at, and you obviously never go up there. So
You
yeah,
obviously, yeah.
I think if I could be misremembering, but I think you can look up and see that there's like clearly a walkway up there that you literally never
So
go to.
what are I think it's always seems to be like you got to get three things. Three's always the magic number, isn't it? Like you
But
got to
it's
get
four,
three. Is it four? You got to get four
four,
statues or
four masks for the statues in the main hall,
for the statues. Yeah.
and you got to put the
To
mask on, and it opens the front door to
you know
exit.
what that kind of reminds me of the dog heads getting the
Oh
dog heads
yeah,
to get out of
yeah.
the Baker
That is kind of
residence.
yeah. That is kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
And the
And
number four even applies because you only need three dog heads, but for one of the dog heads you do need to grab another key item, the little clock pendulum. So in a way, it's kind of four items for both.
yeah.
Although you could argue that's actually I don't know. You could argue that you need more than four items in RE8. Anyways, none of this is important at all. So let's just pretend I didn't say any of that. Anyways,
So
so we're
any other let's move along to the what comes
Moreau.
after the castle? Yeah, is it Moreau?
No,
I
Donna
don't remember
Beneviento, but we already talked
Donna
about that.
Beneviento.
We already talked about that
I don't
section.
remember like what order you fight the bosses. I know
It-
except for I know the middle two. I know that Heisenberg is last,
yes,
Lady D is first,
yes.
and then the other two are in the middle somewhere.
The second one's the doll lady with the baby, scary baby, and then the third one's the grotesque.
Okay, so now
Water.
I really liked that house on the waterfall area of Donna Beneviento.
Yeah,
That whole setting is just that vibe is very haunted, very
yeah. Like I was saying, I
it,
think it's this. I think it's
it's
one of this.
haunting.
Yeah, yeah. It
I
sure
like
is,
it.
and and the house, it looks great. Visually, the whole game just looks so good. It really
It
does.
does look good. Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and I do think that section has the best. It's like the best puzzle section and is the scariest section in the game, in my opinion. But like I said earlier, it wears off after you've played it a couple times. Like
Hmm.
like I've played it about 30 times now. So obviously that part's worn off on me. Like, oh, it's the fucking big baby. Oh, I'm so scared. No, not really. I know exactly how to get away from it
Well,
now.
that's with all the games. I was
In a
playing.
way, yeah, but with other sections, like at least you have like the combat. That's always going to be fun. But like running away from the
I
giant
was
baby and hiding.
I was doing that um Armadoro section last night on stream after we ended our stream of RE5. I was playing RE4 remake,
And you're doing
and
what section?
the section where you have to Ashley's section.
Okay.
And I was zipping all through it. But Starlight was in the stream watching, and she's like, "Ma, you have played this a lot." I was just zipping by where all they were, dude, and I got everything done, all the treasures,
Hmm.
and got right to the fucking end where you come after you after you get
The
you
lamps
set the lamps down and you don't have any. You got to run up the stairs and then run through the library area.
and the guy
I
got
went
you.
to I was running across the thing. There were two of them coming this way.
Hmm.
And I said, oh shit, and went to turn around and run to loop around back behind the other one behind me. And he would have been on her behind left. So I turned around to the left rather than the right, thinking because I thought he crossed over to the right, but I went
Right.
back to the left. And instead he was right there on the left side of me and got me and fucking whop, ended the run. I was like, oh man, I was
What
right there at the end of it.
what
But
difficulty were you
anyway,
playing on?
that's RE4. It's just the point is that when you play these games enough, yeah, they become second nature, and you can just they lose their effect of
Yeah,
scariness.
yeah,
Uh,
that is true.
but I can see that definitely happening with the baby section. Excuse me, I wasn't all that um scared of that
Yeah,
section.
neither was I. Like I wasn't
It
super. Like I'm
wasn't.
not saying I was like
It,
terrified,
I can,
shaking in my boots
yeah,
or
I can see
anything.
how
But
people could be terrified,
yeah,
especially if you
yeah,
have
like
a
for
phobia of like demonic
and
babies. But
let's
yeah.
be honest. A lot of Resident Evil games don't have the scariest settings. They're they're my favorite survival horror games, but that doesn't mean they're the scariest out there.
Well, I don't. I think Raccoon City Police Department's
There are,
pretty fucking
yeah,
in the
RE2,
remake.
RE2
In the
remake,
remake
RE7
is pretty
are
scary.
the two highlights I think of the like
Yeah,
because Mr. X just and RE3 Nemesis back in the day was having Nemesis chase you was pretty terrifying as a kid also.
yeah.
But it's like I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to Moreau's section now. Moreau, I think a lot of people don't like Moreau's section, or maybe not the section, but the boss fight because he's just a big fat fucking tank. He has so much health, and you know what I'm talking about? The third boss fight.
I remember it vaguely. I remember being on like some wooden slats out on like on some water and shit, and like
Yeah,
having a. Is that right?
yeah. Like
Does that sound
you have
familiar?
to run like through these in like you're kind of in the water a little bit with you like on like these wooden planks and stuff, and you're
Yes.
running through, and you got to be careful to run through certain ones without him catching you, and then you got to do some switch puzzles to get through it, and then oh yeah, oh my god, we forgot to mention two other iconic lines. One when you beat one of the sisters back in the castle. Uh, when you are or the daughters, sorry. Well, I guess they're sisters, but they're daughters of Alcina. Um, what's the line Ethan says? I'm sick of bugs.
I'm sick of
I'm
bugs.
sick of bugs. Such an iconic line. I don't know why it is. I like
I think we just found the title for
or this one, the
for the
next
episode.
line. I was just getting to. Once you get out of there, you hit this in Moreau section. I'm still talking about Moreau section now. The fish, and once you get out of that section and do all the stuff, you hit this lever and it springs up this giant boat. And Ethan comes out with another big one liner. He's just like, caught myself a big one. And that line always stuck out to me too, and it is as just iconic because it's just like, what the fuck is he even talking about? Why is he talking to himself saying that? It's so funny.
Well, it's funny you mention that because it's a good point to bring up. You see the progression of how Capcom has evolved this character
I was
from
gonna
7 to
say,
8.
yeah, I think they gave
He
him more personality in this one.
Yeah, he has a personality.
He's saying some funny
In the
shit
one
sometimes.
because those are one-liners that you would hear Leon
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
You know what I'm
kinda.
saying? Those are things that my boy, well, not that Leon. This Leon.
Yeah, the
Those are
RE4 Leon.
those are things my boy Leon would
Yeah,
say. You know what I
Leon,
mean?
Leon, yeah, RE4 Leon and RE8 Ethan would play bingo together. Absolutely.
Absolutely, they would. That's great.
Yeah, but after that,
Um,
caught myself a big one. Then you run back and you do like one more puzzle to drain the water, and then you fight the boss. And I think there's a lot of people that don't like it just because of how much of a tank he is. Like he has so much health, and there's like a trick you can do with like mines where you just set like 12 mines down, like you just set them all in one place so he runs into them, and it does massive damage to him. And you can pretty much kill him with just mines exclusively as long as you have enough of them. I like the boss fight though, because
yeah.
I don't know, I like shooting things, and he has a lot of health, so you shoot him a lot.
I very much like the Heisenberg boss fight is probably my favorite boss fight in the whole game.
Oh, is it really?
A lot of people shit on Lady D's boss fight. I like that one as well. She turns into this dragon literally,
Yeah, I
and
like them
I
all.
like it.
I like
I
them all
like
in a
it.
way, but Lady D's is annoying because she has she regenerates, and it makes sense it's lore wise because she does have regenerative abilities, but she can regenerate her health, and I don't fully understand. Still to this day, I don't fully understand how she regenerates or when she regenerates her health. But I know that
Mhm.
she does it because I've literally watched people speedrun it, and they have like this bar where it shows the health because like they mod it to where they can show the enemy health, and like I've seen it go up, and I don't know. It's just it's a little frustrating knowing that she can raise her health, but I'm speaking. It's like it's really not that frustrating at all normally, but it's frustrating when you're trying to speed run. I'm thinking of like speed running terms, and I know 99% of people don't speed run and don't give a crap about speed running, so I shouldn't even be talking about it. But but
Yeah, I'm cutting that whole section out, buddy. No, I'm kidding. I'm
go
kidding.
ahead if you want.
No, I'm playing around.
Um,
Um, because I'm part of that. And I do care about speedrunning. Not games like this.
Well,
I like this.
when I said don't
I
care about
like.
speedrunning, I meant like
Yeah.
they don't speedrun themselves.
I'm mostly casual. Played most of these games. The only ones I speedrun. Well, the only one I speedrun is Resident Evil 2 remake. That's it.
That's a
I
good one.
try to speedrun Resident Evil 2,
Oh,
and I try to speedrun Resident Evil 1 remake. I just can't do it.
yeah. By the way, well,
I'm too OCD with the fucking inventory system.
yeah, I get that.
You
Trust
know what I
me,
mean?
I understand
Yeah.
completely.
Because in
I will.
RE2 remake, you can click a button and everything's sorted out for you automatically. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that
And
was a great
RE4
addition.
remake's too long of a game to
That
speedrun.
just made me think of something else. The inventory system in RE8 is also worse. Not just worse than RE4 remakes, but worse than RE4 original. For two
Because it's
reasons.
not colored.
That's one reason. There's like no color, and it's like why? Well, it looks so
It's
drab
hard to
and dull.
differentiate items
It's
because
lame
it's
that there's
all
no
gray
color.
and dull,
But
yeah.
also, like you can't stack certain items on top of each other for some reason. Like they just won't let you do it. It's
What do you mean?
like you'll have like you'll want to place a gun over a small little health thing, and it will not let you do it. Like to
Really?
replace it, yeah, and like you'll put it over like in RE4 you would do it, and it would replace it, and you would put the gun down over where the health is, and you would pick the health up to move it somewhere else. But for some reason, it won't let you do that. It'll let you do smaller
Uh,
items. It'll let you exchange smaller items with bigger ones, I believe, but not bigger
I
with
see what you're
smaller.
saying, yeah.
It's stupid. I have no idea why they designed it like that. That combined with the no color, like it's like, come on, like how are you gonna get beat by
Aesthetically,
RE4?
it's similar because it's like it's a puzzle fit Tetris type
Yeah.
inventory system. You know what I mean? So,
Anyways, that just made me think of that. But
anyway, yeah. Let's. I What was I saying before all that? Oh, I really like the Heisenberg fight because of like it reminds me of like it reminds me of how I imagine a Resident Evil boss to be like in the trope of what we're used to, like, you know, of how they've evolved. Only this has this added caveat that he's a machine. He uses machinery and metal.
he's literally metal,
So
like
yeah, and that's unique. So he's like a Resident Evil boss, like that giant boss that you fight at the end of Revelations with the guns. You know what I'm saying? Or five even, or is it five?
wait with the
You're like
gun.
you're in a helicopter and you got to shoot this creature with a turret gun and shit. I think that's in
Oh, yeah,
Revelations.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Revelations.
So yeah, so it's something like like on that scale, like a big grand giant like monster BOW. Only this one he's made out of junk parts,
Yeah,
and
literally just
I liked that. I liked that. Out of
yeah.
all the monsters, I liked that one the most. That one made the most sense to me that this could exist in a Resident Evil like
That's
universe.
surprising. I
The other
didn't hear
ones
that from you.
didn't so much do it for me,
I
except for
I,
maybe
I would
Lady
have thought the
D
opposite, honestly, but
because of her
that's surprising to hear.
assets.
That's nice, nice. Play on words there. But yeah, that's surprising to hear. I figured I would have guessed that it would have been the opposite for you, but I like it. I respect the opinion that you have there of that.
Yeah,
Um, I do like it too, but I mostly like Heisenberg for his voice and the way he talks. The boss fight is
absolutely. I think
yeah,
it's
it's
great.
all
I think
right.
his character is great.
You know,
So I
it's
want to
also
move
cool
on.
that Chris. We didn't mention the Chris. Like he's the one
Yeah.
who sets you up with that machine that you get into when you fight Heisenberg.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You finally meet up with
Yeah, you
Chris
get
again,
yeah, dude.
and
I
he
forgot all
find
about that.
and he find
That's another reason why it's like a mech suit or something, right?
yeah. Yeah, oh, I mean, I don't know. It's just a big ass fucking thing you sit in that fucking
Yeah.
shoots and has like a chainsaw fucking that you defend with.
You know why I
But
like that?
yeah,
Because
but
now that you bring that up, that
that's
reminds me of like Godzilla kaiju fighting shit. You know,
yeah.
in a way. So I think that's why it kind of stuck with me. You know, like why I like that boss fight in particular the most.
Yeah, but that scene's important also because that's when he finally reveals everything to Ethan that Mia's
Yeah.
still alive. That wasn't. He's like, you think I killed Mia? Like that's what he says. And then he finally explains everything that Mia's still
So
alive.
so out of character for Chris Redfield. But you know what? Hey, it's for the plot. I
Yeah.
understand it with what they were trying to do. Oh, Chris is a bad guy now. Woo, yeah,
I have to
right.
mention one more thing, just that I love. It's when Ethan says, when Chris says, "We're going to get your daughter back. I promise that." And then Ethan's like, "Well, goddamn right." And I'm going to kill Miranda myself or something like that. And then Chris just does his little, like he just does a little smirk. I can't do it because my face sucks. But he does this like little smirk, and I always thought that was so just a mixture of weird, cool, and funny and awesome. Because like we never
Isn't that like kind of
in the last like 5 games we haven't seen Chris smile at all. He's always so
well?
serious.
That's because he's thinking to himself, "I trained you well" or something. You
I
know, I
feel
would
like yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of
Yeah,
feel
you know,
and like yeah,
proud
yeah.
of kind of proud of himself. You
Yeah,
know.
I think you might be right about that, and I like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, he killed Heisenberg, which by the way, Heisenberg calls out Chris by calling him that boulder punching asshole, which is a really
Yeah, I
nice
like
callback to Resident Evil 5.
what a nice callback to RE5.
It's
You know what
so
I'm saying?
cool,
But
yeah.
it makes no fucking sense though. Like, how would he know? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but it's so cool that who cares? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, he knows it
Excuse me.
because I don't know, because maybe maybe the fucking Daily Bugle got a hold of fucking Chris in the volcano punching boulders.
The Daily Bugle
I don't know
from
why.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I just thought first newspaper thing I could think of, first report.
There's a lot of Marvel sprinklings in this game. We got the
I don't know
X-Men,
why I don't even
Spider-Man.
know why I said that's first thing I thought of.
So
Anyways,
I wanna move on to since we're wrapping up the game here
well, there's still
and getting
more.
closer to the end of the podcast. I know because I'm on limited time today.
Ethan
The
dies.
biggest reason that I didn't like this game as much is like, you know, other than the few instances I've elaborated on, uh, and this is a spoiler for those who haven't played it.
Hmm.
There's it's revealed in this game that Mother Miranda and
Miranda.
Oswald Spencer were colleagues at one
Yeah,
point,
you were saying
and
you
it
hated
kind of
that.
shoehorns in Spencer with the whole
Like she like
trying to search for the fountain of youth thing,
and
and she found
Spencer
it.
was like the student to her Mother Miranda, and Mother Miranda's like
Yeah,
over 100 years
and
old and shit.
yeah, I ain't buying it, man.
It's
It's
silly. It's
shoehorned.
silly, but
It's
I
silly.
kind of like that they
It's
connected
trying to
it.
tie up things that don't need to be tied up.
It's
It
true,
would have
but
been a better, and it
it's
would have
whatever.
made more sense to have the game just be of its own continuity that's coming after all these other events. There's no need to tie it back to make it
I
relevant.
kind of agree with you, but I also think like
Yeah.
it's whatever. Like I didn't mind it. Like whatever. I thought it was kind of cool that they connected to the old RE games, RE1 specifically. But I kind of agree
Yeah.
with you as well that they didn't like
It wasn't
they didn't need to
necessary.
they didn't need to do that. But I didn't really mind it too much. I guess it's just that I don't. I think you're more passionate about the lore than I am. I'm more passionate
Oh, of
like
course I am.
yeah, like I'm more passionate about. I just want the game to be fun and good, and
I got you.
but you know what I mean. And I know you do too. I'm not trying to say you don't. Like obviously you
Oh,
want
I
the, but
absolutely do. And
like
I know you're not saying that. I just listen. Lore's important because this is what was the most standout thing of Resident Evil when I first played it was the ability to read files and to expand the universe of the lore.
yeah,
It's only they can do it now with storytelling rather than file reading.
yeah, it's true.
So it's important to make sure that like if you're going to do something that you make it cohesive and you make it uh it has to be necessary and pertain to the story with relevancy. And like I said, her being like a colleague or a teacher or whatever of Oswald Spencer has no fucking bearing on the story
It's
whatsoever
pretty stupid.
to further this
I
game
will
along.
say it's stupid. It's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm that's coming from someone who like really loves the game and even doesn't even mind that it's stupid, but I also don't mind it. Like I think it's kind of cool in a way that they connected it, but I also think it's stupid. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like half and half on it. But anyways,
Anything else about this game that you want to expound on before we move
well,
on to the Shadows of Rose?
Chris saves Mia, then we get the scene with Mother Miranda and Ethan, and that's when it's revealed that she rips out his heart, I think, or is it her something else? It's the heart, right?
Ethan's heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's his heart.
And then it's revealed, he has like this little dream sequence with Evelyn that you died, Jack killed you, you motherfucker, when he said, "Welcome to the family, son."
I told you.
Knocked your fucking brain out.
I told you that he was dead, and it made the most sense. And you say that that was retconned into the village to make it make more sense going back to the first game 7.
I mean,
Um, I think
don't you think
maybe that
so?
might be true.
Yeah.
There might be some merit to that, but also
I mean, I
maybe they
don't.
had planned that all along.
They could have, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they just thought. What I think is that after RE7 came out and people probably said lots of things about how silly it was that he could just reattach his foot and just sprinkle on some juice. It's so silly. So then Capcom heard so many things about that, and they wanted to give a reason as to why he could do that, and that's why they did this. But I could be wrong. Maybe they had that. Maybe they had this planned. I have no idea. Um, Either way, though, it's fine. I like it. It's fine. It's like it's silly. It's dumb, but it's I like it. But then, yeah, you get one cool thing is you get to you actually get to play as Chris in the main game. You didn't get to do that in
yeah,
RE7. You only got to
yeah.
do
You
that.
get you had to do that in the DLC.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
only in
was
the
it.
DLC. In this one, you get to actually play as him in the main game, and I really do like the section because it just feels awesome. You get you feel like a badass playing as him because he has so much good shit. You got your teammates with you, Umbra, Eyes, whatever his name is. I don't know all their names. And then you're just like fucking plowing through them. He does this like iconic punch and shit too. Like if the prompt comes up, like if you like guard at just the right time, they bounce off. Then you can fucking punch their fucking head off. It's so cool. And he get his little targeting laser thing that you use, and then you got to fight the guy where he's like guarding the Mega Mycete, huh? That's like the final boss for Chris's section. And then so once you do all that, then it's revealed that Ethan's still still alive because he's like molded. He's molded Ethan. He's got what would you call it? Regenerative abilities, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he's regenerative, but like he's
And
losing that after the Mega
yeah,
Mycete is destroyed. He starts to lose that, so he disintegrates into like
yeah.
the void of or the matrix of the Mega Mycete because as we'll find out in the Shadows of Rose, that all that data of consciousness is transferred.
So you wake up
I
in the
really
Duke.
like
Sorry, go on.
what's that? I was going to say that one of the things I wasn't very impressed with Mother Miranda. I don't like her
She
as a
was,
as a
yeah,
boss.
she was just kind of,
Uh,
eh.
it's she's not memorable. It falls off. Hell, Jack Norman's more fucking memorable than she is to me.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I think she's less memorable than a lot of the other, probably all four of the other main bosses.
yeah, well,
Definitely less
that's a good
memorable
point.
than
Her henchmen, her underlings, the four lords,
Heisenberg and
uh,
Alcina,
they
Demetres
outshine
are
her.
definitely outshine her. The others who are
Yeah.
questionable, but I
Well, what
mean,
I do like about Mother Miranda, she looks like an archangel, how I would imagine an archangel to look with those wings and all that
yeah,
shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of cool. You know,
she's
it gives
she's
it like
she's
this.
she's all right. She's just kind of
Or
bland
they
and
called him. What do they
blah.
call him? The seraphim. Remember? You know the seraphim from this
Seraphites.
the seraphim from Doom Eternal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she kind of has that vibe to her for
I
me,
said
but less.
Seraphites from fucking Last of Us 2. What was I talking about? Jesus
No,
Christ.
I don't. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I never. I haven't played Last of Us 2 yet.
That's the scars, the Seraphites.
Yeah, the scars.
Anyways,
Um.
so yeah, then you wake up in Duke's little carriage, and Duke's the man. He's like, I'm already bringing you to Mother Miranda so you can save Rose. I'm on your side, bro. I've got your back. And that's when you know for sure Duke's the fucking man. And
Yeah.
then you take the final step, final steps
So
up
he.
to fight
We
Mother
all
Miranda.
thought. We all thought that that they were going to do something like that with the merchant whenever it was announced that they were going to make Resident Evil 4 remake. They're like, "Oh, what if he gets involved in the story like the Duke did and he
Yeah,
helps
yeah.
out Leon?" Well,
He
there was a
didn't.
lot of speculation because I like that, but I'm glad they didn't do that because there's no need to change anything
Yeah, they didn't want
other
to make
than
too
like
big,
maybe
too much.
locations.
Yeah,
You don't
I
want to
don't,
change characters.
too
You don't want
much.
to
You don't
change
want to
their
change it too
personalities
much.
too much. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you there. But yeah, Mother Miranda is
So
kind of a hard boss fight on the harder difficulties. But you take her out. Chris helps you. He snipes her in the face, and then you grab Rose from her, and then they fucking fight. And the whole time they're fighting, they're just bitching to each other, like, "No, Rose is my goddamn daughter," and shit like that. And it's a lengthy fight, and you beat her, and you win the end, and then the ending of the game. Oh, the ending of the game. Holy shit.
well, yeah.
Do you want to
Chris
talk?
destroys Chris. Well, Chris destroys the Mega Mycete. Um, the ending of the game is the baby's given to Chris
Ethan sacrifices
by
himself.
a dying Ethan.
Yeah, he does the ultimate sacrifice
He
and
sacrifices
earns
himself
Father
to
of the Year award.
and he gives the baby to Chris to raise and to take care of and
Yep.
to protect her from the evil forces of
And then
whatever.
and when he gets back
Oh,
on
or
the
whoever.
chopper or whatever he's on with Mia, um, do you remember what happens?
No, I don't. Can you just go ahead and remind
They get a
jar my
package.
memory.
They get one of Chris's teammates is on the chopper. This is after he tells Mia that Ethan's gone and I'm sorry and blah blah blah. There's another Umbra Eyes or whoever one of his teammates is there. Sir, we got a package here. It's from the BSAA, and they look inside and it's a BOW. And I know they do that to like leave a cliffhanger, but like I don't understand. I got really confused by that. Like
Oh
why
yeah, that's they're implying like the corruption of the
is that
BSAA
what it is? I
and
mean, I guess that's what it
yeah,
is. But like
and
why is that
and
it just I don't know. I guess they're just setting up a cliffhanger for
they're
and
setting up a cliffhanger to say that the BSAA has gone bad, gone south,
which is
gone
kind of
bad,
funny because now Chris is with
gone
Umbrella
bad.
and he's going up against the BSAA when it was
That's
literally
what they were trying to set up, and I
and
hope that they
Chris
don't. So, like, here's the thing: they if they're not going to do like a follow up for that in Resident Evil 9, and then they wait to
totally.
do it in Resident Evil 10,
Hmm.
I'm fine with that. But you have to tie up that loose end, like because they kind of did that
He also
with
says Chris.
RE3. Didn't have it didn't show Claire and them going after Umbrella or Wesker or whatever. You had to wait till Code Veronica to see all that. And the
Yeah,
RE3 was just Jill's story and her escape. And I'm okay with if you're going to do an RE9 with a Leon story, but like it has no relevancy to what Chris has been doing and
Well, you never
across the
know.
span of the last two games.
Maybe he recruits Leon and that's help for him. Maybe Chris is gonna be a
Maybe that would
maybe
be
Chris.
cool. I
What
mean,
if Chris and Leon are gonna be a 9? And,
that would fucking be an even better
like
lineup than than Leon and Jill, because everybody's been clamoring for Leon and Jill, and I'm just
it's
like,
just because we never had them two together in a game, but
well,
we've
we
had
never
Chris.
really had Chris and Leon together except for an RE6 where they were fighting,
Yeah.
and then they were, but we never had them like team up.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, imagine a co-op game with those two. Like instead of like a main character and then somebody you don't care about, like Leon and Helena or Chris and Sheva. And I'm not saying those characters are bad. Like people like Sheva, but
But they're
imagine.
one and doneers.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if RE9 was like literally Chris and Leon or something like that. Like
That would be fucking killer,
a
man.
co-op
I'd be
game
sold.
like RE5, except it's two characters that are.
But even better than that, I would like to see all 4 legacy characters return for one final hurrah for however they can do it.
Yeah,
Bring back fucking Wesker.
just bring
Because that's the perfect way
bring
to
back
fucking
Steve.
bring them together.
Bring back Steve too.
You know what I mean?
Bring back everybody.
So you have Barry, Rebecca, Claire.
Bring them all
I,
back.
I said 4, I mean 5.
No, you mean
Excuse
like
me.
20.
Jill, Chris, Barry, Rebecca, Leon, Claire. So
Bring them all back for a Biohazard
bring them all
birthday
back
party.
and have Wesker return. I mean, what a great way! That would be a great reason to bring them back. I'm not gonna speculate too much on what they're doing with Resurrection because I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna be talking with Beggy and hopefully if everything goes according to plan on Saturday. And it looks like maybe they're kind of giving us as if Wesker had never been killed off, because that's what the fans have always wanted.
What do you mean?
Know what I'm saying? Because it's set in modern times. Resurrection is set in like the year 2021, I believe she said.
See, I don't know much about that, so.
Yeah, so it's like as if Wesker was never killed off. And I think that bringing Wesker back in the video games is what the fans want. It's what I want.
For like RE5 remake, or are you talking about for RE9 and 10?
Well, for RE5 remake, you could
make it to retcon.
You could retcon his death,
doesn't die,
or you could resurrect him as if maybe he was a clone or he never really died. Because
they literally have already done it before. Why can't they do it again? Like he supposedly died in 1, and then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can resurrect them twice.
Why not?
But if you think of, all right, so if you think about it, and I'm going to tie something in here, and I hate to do this because I might be spoiling something fucking major without even knowing it. That the name of the film, the name of the fan film is Resurrection, and if you think about it, maybe they're bringing, maybe Wesker was killed off, and then they brought him back. Mm-hmm. And if they do that in this fan film, I can't wait to see how they do it. I'm there for it. But anyway, we're going to close out the village discussion and move to the Shadows of Rose.
Right.
Real quick and touch on that because I got to get wrapping this up in a couple minutes. I really enjoyed the DLC. I like that. Okay, so what I liked about it was like the bad guy was Duke. But it wasn't Duke because it was a blendation of memories of her and her father's. And I also like that you have a little guy. His name's Michael the Archangel.
That's what he says his name is, yeah.
That's what he says his name is, but we know who it is.
Yeah.
It's Daddy.
Yep, it's Daddy Ethan.
And she gets to have her closure with her father at the end. And
that's
sort of
that's a cool
sort of closes out the winter saga.
Yeah,
it's unconventional. I'm sorry. But I just want to say this. It's an unconventional way to wrap up a trilogy with a DLC. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I had some problems with the DLC. It was good. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. Like I definitely don't like it as much as the main game. And I mean it's DLC.
Neither do I.
A lot of DLC isn't as good as the main game, but like when you compare it to RE7's DLC, I love RE7's DLC, and then there's so much of it too. Like it has 8 DLCs technically.
I just liked it that it was like what I liked about it the most. I think I liked coming from a lore aspect because I'm a lore hound. It gave us like it was in the future. So my mind was racing like, what's Leon up to? What's,
Yeah, what's
where's
Chris
Chris?
doing? Yeah,
What's Jill doing? What's,
because it's like
uh,
16 years later or however old she
yeah,
is.
like
I don't
what
know.
are what's going on with these legacy characters?
Yeah.
Have they finally defeated bioweaponry? What's going on with these characters? I have to fucking know.
Yeah, because
Capcom, why can't you tell me?
and I don't know if we're gonna get the answer because I seriously doubt RE9 is gonna take place at like after the DLC events or even during
No,
those.
no.
I think it's gonna take place way before, so I don't think we're gonna get an answer to that anytime
I think
soon.
the RE9 events are going to take place in concurrent times
Yeah, yeah,
with
just like
us.
most
So
Resident Evils do. But yeah, the DLC, I feel like there was way too like it was basically just like there were hardly any sections that I can think of that were brand new. It was all just reused stuff, which that's fine. You know, a lot. It's I don't know. That's fine. A lot of DLCs like RE7's Ethan Must Die did that too. It's same place you're running around in. RE4 remake, there's a lot of the same. Yeah, so, but I don't know. It's just
well,
like
you said that you keep bringing up the X-Men throughout the course of the podcast. Most certainly, if anyone feels
Rose.
like they have mutant X-Men powers, it's Rose,
Yeah, I
and that's
do
what I
like
think I
that.
liked. I liked playing as a character with
That
superpowers.
was the
Like
best part. Yeah, her
that
powers
was
were
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They were pretty cool,
yeah.
and that was definitely the best part. It was a good DLC. It just
It was an okay
it
DLC.
wasn't fantastic or
Yeah,
anything, but it
yeah.
wasn't bad by any means. And I'm glad they made it. I wish there would have been more though, like more DL
Yeah.
like Ari said. I don't know. Maybe I was just going into it with like high hopes that
Expectations of the previous game.
yeah, like that
Yeah,
they would drop like four
a
DLCs at
shit ton.
once. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was actually really hoping for an Ethan Must Die too, but I'm just such a big Ethan
yeah. It's
Must
a
Die
missed
fan.
opportunity to do that. You know what I mean?
I think that could have worked out so well. By the way, I
Yeah.
wanted to just brag real quick, 1 second,
Oh God, here we go.
I have to because it just happened this morning. Ethan Must Die. I actually got a PB by 31 seconds, which is huge. So my
Oh
time,
wow,
my
that's a lot. Holy
yeah,
shit!
7:07. I did Ethan Must Die in
Wow. Did
fifth.
you upload that to speedruns?
Yeah, yeah. They haven't accepted it yet,
I'll have
but
to
they
look for
will.
that. Wow, congratulations, man.
I appreciate
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah,
I feel fucking shitty that I wasn't there for it, dude. I
fifth.
was sleeping.
I went from seventh to fifth on the leaderboards now. Number five on console. Ethan Must Die. Um, leaderboards. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
I just had to brag because
That's
Jesus,
oh no,
you know how much I've
that's a
been
big update.
trying.
I didn't know that. You're just now breaking this to me. Holy
Yeah,
shit. I'm surprised you weren't like I didn't wake up to bro, because you've been at it for fucking
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
Um anyway, I gotta wrap this up here. So I just wanna throw out some plugs.
I feel silly to brag like that.
I'm gonna be doing a show with Beggy if everything goes according to plan from Residents of Evil on Saturday. And then Anthony Luzzi from Let's Talk Resident Evil should be on as a guest with me, hopefully Tuesday if things work out. We were, like I said, we were supposed to be going on now, but things came up, and we hope that he gets that all sorted out.
Well, that'd be
Um,
cool. I know you're looking
yeah,
forward to that.
oh, yeah, absolutely. I love those guys' channels. I'm a big fan of Let's Talk Resident Evil and Residents of Evil. They're the two top dogs in my opinion, in the Resident Evil talk space. Um, I'm gonna be doing some runs on Twitch of Resident Evil 4, and I'm picking back up RE2 remake,
Nice.
doing the lore run to find the last file I'm missing, and for Survivor. Speaking of which, I'm getting better and better at it. I still
Yeah,
haven't
I
beat it
told
yet,
you.
but I've figured out how to, like, the part in the sewers
With the tube,
where the G monsters come out of the water,
two of them.
and you have to, and you know how you use a grenade
Yeah.
to blow one up and then keep running? I figured out how not to waste a grenade on it. So you run up the right side till the one furthest away pops up, and then the other one pops up to the left.
Right.
And then immediately when it comes out of the water, you quick turn and run all the way back and let it chase you till it swipes.
Oh,
Then you
okay.
quick turn again and run past it. against the wall again, and the other one won't even try to attack you.
Nice.
You don't have to waste a fucking grenade there.
Well, see, the reason why I do the grenade is because I'm always trying to speed run. So, and
you're trying to speed run it. I'm just trying to get through it with conserving my ammo.
So your way is a better way, but my way is a better way if you're trying to do it faster.
If you're speed running, I'm not worried about speed running it. I just want to get through it with as many grenades as possible because
the grenades are so essential.
Here's where things get south on me now.
What is
because I'm following like the footstep guide for maximum utilization of your ammunition.
What do you use? Magnum ammo or shotgun ammo more? Like, what do you do at the beginning?
Shotgun ammo is the most.
Yeah, I do shotgun too.
When you get to the elevator that takes you into the basement of the RPD from the sewers, and you go through that gated door, and then there's like all them zombies in that basement area with the pillars. If you follow the path, and go to the
where they're
when you're
all
going
on the
up
ground?
the stairs to go to the
up the ladder,
to like the upper. No, you go.
No, I know what you're talking about.
You go up the lift.
Yeah.
You go inside of this area. It's like a sub basement. You go around the stairs, go up the stairs, go through the gated door. There's a bunch of zombies laying around you. You got to make your way across the stairs that lead up to the upper sewer or whatever it is area, and then ultimately up to the RPD. Anyway, that area, if you follow the path where there's a pillar here and a pillar here, you'll have a zombie here, you'll have one here, one here, one here, and one here. If you kind of zigzag in between them pillars and run to the wall and then loop around, none of them grab you. The guy that did it on the fucking video I watched pulled it off. I can't pull it off. I get grabbed every time. And then by the time I stab him with the knife and I turn around to try to get away, more are grabbing me. Then he starts wasting all of his shit.
So this room, just to confirm, this is the room, the police parking garage. Is that the room you're talking about?
No.
Where they're all laying on the ground and they all get up at the same time? No, it's not.
No.
Okay, then I'm lost.
This is before that.
Before that, okay.
This is before that.
I'm trying to think.
You run, okay, so after you make it out of the sewer into it's like a room where in the main game you push a shelf to the side, you go through the door, you get on a lift.
Yes.
The lift takes you up to a sub basement. Okay.
Yes.
Whenever and then it's long before the parking garage.
Okay.
Because after that you have to run down. It's the platform. It leads you to the platform where when you're running in the main game and William Birkin is up above going.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Or Sherry. You have the liquor.
There's stairs that you have to go up, but you have to go through a bunch of zombies that rise up on the ground. So
instead of going, if you were to go up all those stairs, okay, it's the room where you use the dongle.
The dongle.
The stars badge dongle.
Yeah, you use it to open up that thing
to get the custom parts.
That's funny because that's the room yes. I thought you were talking about at first, but then when you kept explaining, that's the room. I thought you were talking about the parking garage.
No, not the parking garage because there's zombies in there too. I don't know if they're laying down. They might just be in there. But you open the gate and there's like a fucking old looking like old man zombie. There's another zombie over here. There's like a Chinese looking zombie over there.
Yeah.
It's
you can get through that room without getting grabbed without
I can and I'm going to, but it's not easy. You gotta get through it without getting grabbed.
And sometimes it's just luck. Like I don't know.
But here's the point: if I can get through that, I will have 3 hand grenades.
That's amazing.
3 flashbang grenades.
That's crucial.
And fucking at that point, let's say about 7 to 10 shotgun shells and a full fucking magnum.
Here's what I do. All right, let's start.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can get through this with that shit.
Let's start at the parking garage. When you get in there, like they all rise up, and you need to get to the one room. Like you do know where you're going, right?
Where the kennel is, and it leads you up to the RPD.
Yeah. I always throw a flashbang in that room because there's so many of them. I blind them all and I run past them. Then in the next room,
what you do?
There's a zombie.
What you do in that section? I'm sorry. Before you move on, what you do in that section in the run that I'm trying? You blast the first one in the fucking head with the shotgun. It staggers them back, and then you just run around them and zip right past.
I'm sure there's other ways. Yeah, that was what I always do.
Yeah,
but then in the next room, there's a liquor on the roof. And the thing is I always just blast it 3 times with the Magnum and it kills them. Because if you don't do that and instead you keep running,
You're talking about the one on the ceiling?
yeah. If you don't do that, he's just gonna jump on you. But you have to
You're
watch
talking
out.
about the one on the ceiling
Yeah, yeah,
in the kennel?
yeah.
Yeah.
Three
I just
times.
walk past him. And then once I get to that door that leads up to RPD, I fucking book it.
Does he? He
So if
jump.
I
He
can
what?
get
He doesn't jump on you. He always jumps on me.
he jumps on you once you well, if or listen, if you walk past him
Uh,
and get to that hallway, he's going to attack you no matter what, even if you walk past him. He's going to figure out you're there. Once you get to the hall that leads into the doorway that goes down the hall to the right and up the stairs,
mm.
if you fucking get to that hall and just book it for the door, that that monster won't follow you, but you got to get going because not
I
too
like.
far behind him are some more dogs.
You know
So
what's
you got
funny
to get up them stairs. Yeah.
is that I've beaten it in Fourth Survivor literally dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm listening to advice from you on how to but you
Well, no,
haven't. It's
I'm
just
not. Yeah, I'm not
like
giving advice. I'm
you're
telling
telling me
you,
things that I
like,
didn't know about is what I mean.
yeah,
Like you are giving me
I'm
advice that I
trying to
didn't know
tell you
about.
how to do the run to have
The
all
most
your fucking
yeah,
ammo, the most
yeah.
effective
I didn't know
ammo.
about some of that stuff, so
And
that's interesting.
I didn't know about that shit either. And I've been following this guide on YouTube step by step, and it's gotten me to that point
I kind of
with
just
all that ammo.
it's because
But there's one problem: that one zombie grabs me every fucking time, and then the whole run is just shit.
yeah. See, I never really looked anything up for it. I kind of just kept doing it until I
If I do
made
it
my own
your way,
path.
if I do it following your way, I make it to the G monster outside of the RPD towards the end every time, but with no fucking nothing.
Yeah,
So I'm
you
screwed.
have to have at
It's
least one grenade,
yeah.
at least,
But
preferably two.
anyway,
But you can definitely do it with one.
yeah.
You can like get past them and then get grabbed by like one of those plant monsters, and you'll have the grenade to defend yourself. You'll obviously use it, and then you have to hurry through. And then once you're past them, you're golden because the only thing stopping you
Yeah.
is some zombies on the ground, which you'll have enough shotgun or magnum or whatever to get through them quick enough. So
So that I was just
uh,
trying to plug my what I'm doing on Twitch, and it turned into this whole like 20 minute
yeah.
rant
Well,
about
let me
fucking
plug now too. I've been doing a lot of
yeah,
RE7, Ethan Must Die, and Not a Hero speed running. I did RE8, and I'm thinking about doing Revelations and Revelations 2 next, replaying those.
awesome.
Colin
That is,
BFG
I can't wait
255.
for that. I can't wait for that. I wanna be there for. I love
Yeah,
Revelation. You know,
I've
I love Revelations.
I've also
I
been
love
thinking
that
about
boat.
replaying some Doom, maybe Doom 3 and maybe like Doom Eternal. I don't know if I'm gonna
I
have
tell
enough
you what, you
time to
play
do.
some Doom 3, and we'll cut RE talk just briefly. We'll put a halter on that, and then do a Doom episode where we'll talk about Doom 3 because it's my love. That's my favorite game right there.
That's funny because
Well, one of them.
it's my least favorite Doom game,
Oh my god,
but I
it's
still
my
love it
favorite.
though. It's fun. But
Yeah,
the reason why I'm gonna be replaying it mainly is because the new Doom
Doom the
Dark
Dark
Ages. I'm day
Ages
one.
comes out what, the 17th?
I don't know. It's like a week from today, whatever that day
Hmm.
is. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
literally the second it drops, I'm playing it. So midnight, whatever. I'm there streaming it. I'm gonna be playing it. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm
Two
doing.
minutes and 30 seconds we have left here.
All right.
I want to keep it at the 1:30 mark.
Okay.
Call him BFG 255 on
On
Twitch,
Twitch, Colin255 on YouTube and everything
on
else.
YouTube. I'm Kenjira80
Yes, you are.
on Twitch, and Kenjira1980 on YouTube.
Nice.
We will upload this video where you can watch on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify. Please go to the sites and
Ooh,
give our videos likes, and share the content. Give us a review on Spotify,
please.
and
It would be very
give us
helpful.
subscribe. Yeah,
We
it would
very
help us
much
out a
appreciate
lot.
it. Also,
We very much appreciate
we didn't
that.
give a final score like we always do. I want to hear
Oh
yours
yeah, we
first this
missed that.
time, just
All right,
because
so closing out
we'll
the
do we'll do the
discussion on
DLC
Village.
separately. So do the main game
Close
and then do the DLC score.
right. Closing out the discussion on Resident Evil Village. I'm gonna give it a score of 7.5.
7.5. That's respectable.
7.5. I'm gonna give the DLC a 7.
That's also respectable. What do you think?
And that is my score.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
I think you're going to give it an 8, and then you're gonna go between 8, 8.5. I can't
It's
decide.
because
I'm
I
going to
already.
settle
It's
on
because I
8.
said that the other day and you heard me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I can't decide. I'd probably give it an 8. Yeah,
an 8,
8.5.
8.5,
And the
just like I said,
DLC probably 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, and the main game 8, DLC 7.5. All right,
Awesome.
main game 8.5. How about I just go 8.25 and we'll leave it at that in the middle.
I called it. I said he's not going to be able to make up his mind. He's going to
I
flutter back
can't.
and
Like
forth.
I go back and forth from 8 to 8.5 because sometimes it feels like an 8, sometimes it feels like 8.5. Anyways, I'll just say 8.25.
Well, we'll just say it's an 8.5 from Colin. He likes the game. I
Or
like
that.
the game. I don't love the game. I
I
don't hate
definitely.
the game,
Yeah,
but
it's not my
it's
favorite.
not my favorite.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good game though.
yeah.
Heisenberg's the
Anyway,
best.
thanks for tuning in, guys. Listening to us babble on about Resident Evil Village, and I don't know how we got into a tangent about For Survivor, but
That was you,
hey,
man.
we here we are.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time on the Biohazard Bros podcast, and look forward to those coming episodes, collaborating with some very interesting people from the community. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time on the Biohazard Bros podcast.
Biohazard Brothers Podcast.